intention of auditioning for Adolfo. It was the last thing I was thinking of. But for some reason, my good friend and roommate Jessica decided to take it upon herself to teach me how to have a good Latin accent. So she made me watch The Birdcage with her, and she would make me practice. And when I went to the audition and I auditioned the role I had really wanted, the judges just kind of were looking at me and I was like, uh-oh, this isn't going well. But then they said, well, why don't you try Adolfo? And I was like, I haven't prepared this, but I had the accent down, and that was all because of my good friend Jessica.
So I hadn't heard of the Drowsy Chaperone when I saw it was going to be our next play, but I wanted to do a little research, so we were cleaning for Pesach at the time, and I was just playing it in the background, and I was like, oh, this is fun, this is cute, I like this. And all of a sudden it gets to the monkey song, and I yell, Sharon, get over here, what the heck is this? This is a really weird show. But it was so fun.
The Drowsy Chaperone was my second ever performance in theater, and it was also a show that I had never heard of before, so I had to learn all these songs and lines for the first time. I had no idea about this show before, and it was also the second time where I got to wear a big floofy dress, and the only time I got to do a spit take, walk through a refrigerator, and play the ukulele.
I made an amateur mistake. In the monkey dance, we were wearing masks, and I thought, hey, nobody could see where I'm looking. And my kids were in the audience, so I decided I'll look out for them. And I found them, but I missed clinking my cymbals. We learn from our mistakes.
At the dress rehearsal for Drowsy, the dresses for the wedding scene weren't quite finalized yet, and my dress, let's just say, wasn't quite tailored properly yet. So when I ran onto stage, not all of my dress came along with me when it was my cue. So it was a little embarrassing, but I guess the show must go on, and looking back, it was a funny memory.
In my super scene, the door swung open very easily. It didn't latch and it didn't stay closed. So what I would do is I would hold the door shut really tight, and I would knock on it like that while I'm holding it. And I also had a flashlight to juggle, so I kind of propped it somewhere, quickly knocked, pulled out my flashlight, and then when she would come, I'd let go of the door. So it was a little bit of hand acrobatics, but you make adjustment and it works.
Okay, so remember when I said that the cow from Into the Woods was the most difficult prop that we ever had to work with? I completely forgot about the airplane.
Pushing around that doggone plane.
Oh my God, that plane.
The airplane.
It was huge, bulky, and so heavy that we needed a stagehand to help push it on stage.
Those of us who were in charge of getting that airplane onto stage.
Thanks, Goldie. We were partners.
Stayed till midnight during Tech Week to make sure we got it right.
We stayed until like past midnight. I don't even remember how late it was. I blocked it out the Thursday before the show because only the back wheels moved.
And after hard work, show 1, nailed it. Show 2, we got it center stage. Show 3, somebody moved something. And now it's recorded forever.
It looked great, but it was such a pain in the neck. And oh yeah, remember when a stagehand ate the pastries that we had shellacked to the tray so they wouldn't fall off when the pastry chefs danced? I think we had to send Shira Buskila's mom to the grocery store an hour before the first performance to get new pastries.
Okay, my funny story is just way too long to tell, but to the people who ate our shellacked and glued pastries from our pastry trays, I forgive you, and I really hope you didn't get sick. And to my mom, who ran out at the very last minute before our show to get more shellac, glue, and pastries, you saved the day. Thank you.
Learning how to roller skate was a lot of fun, but doing it blindfolded was even funnier. We were rehearsing one time and I almost fell off the stage.
I remember Miriam and I going over the harmonies for You're an Accident Waiting to Happen every single performance. We were always like, okay, we got it, right? We got it. And then, and I remember during rehearsal laughing every time I would hear, I am Adolfo. It didn't matter how many times. That performance forever cracked me up, and even watching it on the video, it still cracks me up. It's just amazing.
So I show up to my first JWRC cast meeting, and I'm full of expectations, and I'm excited to be part of a show again. And I don't know any of the women in the room, and I'm so excited to meet all these new people. And Margie goes through and introduces everyone and what their role is, and she goes through all the expectations and the rehearsal schedule and everything, and then she finally gets to her last final rule, which is if you get pregnant during this rehearsal period, you need to let us know as soon as possible so we can rearrange who moves what sets, and also so we can make sure that your costume fits. And new early 20s me sitting there in this cast meeting was wondering, what kind of group is this? And what have I gotten myself into?
If you notice, I have a cigar in almost every single scene. And at the very, very end of the play, when the man in the chair walks into sort of the fantasy world that he's created, and it's a very touching scene, but there's a moment where I hand him my cigar, and Jessica and I always had this moment where we kind of looked at each other, and I just get a chill even thinking about it now. It was just a really lovely moment. I don't even know if anybody else noticed it, but it was really special to me.
The character I play, George, has a line at the end of the show that is, "Who the hell are you?" And I think people at first didn't want me saying H-E-L-L. They didn't want me to use that profanity. So throughout the rehearsals, I kept just trying out different variants of it, and it just never really worked out. So I think in the end, Margie just told me, you know what, just say the original line. And so that's what I did, and it was okay. It worked out.
Fun fact, I've been a butler or servant of some sort, or some type of nanny, in just about every JWRC show I've been in. I wonder what that's all about.